doing push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you alongside my good friend, my forever pal, and sometimes even my pen pal when he doesn't want to make the trip down to East Palestine. The one, the
well,
only.
I can't today.
Well, I know you can't today. You got to deal with all your tags, man.
It's brutal. See, the problem is I had to go down to, Oak Hill Avenue there and get a new, what do you call it, title.
Yeah.
Oh,
Title?
Yeah.
Registration.
Title and registration, yeah.
Okay.
And I went there and it was packed,
always
like an hour and a half to get out of there.
Told you, baby. Oplates.com.
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to go right after this, and I'll get some plates and then be down there Wednesday.
Well, you are the bandito of today, but you are, my friend, are far from being the bandito of the year, because yours truly didn't realize that his tags weren't renewed for about 10 months.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it until I got home, and then I looked at my temporary tag and it's expires 10/15, and I'm like, good thing I didn't drive to Cleveland yesterday, or else
yeah,
it would have been bad. Could have been towed.
Well, I mean, you're only a day away.
Yeah, but they could still, I mean, it's probable cause. They could tow you.
Can it really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never thought
fire
about
plate. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for being a jerk, I guess. But I got into a little fender bender, and the officer of the law was kind enough to say, "Hey, everything's good. If you need this, that, and the other, but you might want to get your plates renewed." And I was like, "Yeah, they're renewed." And I saw the 122 on it, and it didn't even register. And I was like, "Oh crap, that's not good."
No,
not good. We're all good now, baby. All good. Even paid the late fee. Back to Ohio. Back to Ohio. So here's your weekly PSA to make sure that you know when your tags are expired.
Yeah. Look at your tags.
Let's get down to business. We got a great show for you. Power rankings are out. We're going to talk about that. We have some enormous news that we need to talk about on this show as well, that is going to change the scenery, kind of, so to speak, for YSN forever in the future. We're going to break that down for you here in right after this, on this day in sports history, which is going to be interesting because I don't even have one yet. So we'll let it roll here. If I can find it, where is it at? Did they take it away? There it is. There. All right, Rich, I'm trying to find a good one. Hang on. It's about the Pirates. Everything's about the Pirates right now. And we don't want to talk about the Pirates winning a World Series. I'm going to go with, I guess I'll go with this one. 1991, on this day in sports history, Pittsburgh Penguin Paul Coffey sets the NHL defenseman scoring record with 1,053 career points. That's 309 goals and 744 assists in the National Hockey League, which would make me ask you, Mr. Giuliano, what is more impressive, when a defenseman defensive person scores in hockey or when a leadoff hitter hits a dinger in baseball?
It's a good question. I feel like defensemen score a lot on power plays. You're shorthanded, of course, then they're coming up. So a lot of slap shots scoring. You know, what's really weird because you could have leadoff hitters that hit home runs. Aaron Judge was the leadoff hitter for the New York Yankees and
Well,
games of
let's
the
be
series, and he had 62 this year. So
okay.
that's one of a million. I get that. I'm going to have to say a defenseman scoring a goal because, leadoff hitters do hit home runs in this generation of baseball. Defensemen don't score very often. So, I always love that when they score. When I used to watch the Penguins, when defensemen, especially in power plays, like I said, when they come up because the opposition's kind of shorthanded, they come up and slap shot it in and everybody goes nuts because, they're not used to scoring. And it's kind of nice to, see them get a little limelight and some spotlight because they're usually the ones that aren't talked about enough. So I'm going to go with the defenseman scoring a goal here because, I understand in the olden days when, you're a leadoff hitter, put the ball in play, you don't get it out of the yard. But, just nowadays you see so many guys that have so much power, kind of a different generation of baseball. And, now it's kind of common for leadoff guys to hit home runs.
Stephen Kwan?
Kwan had one. Yeah, I mean, Kwan doesn't hit too many home runs, but, he had one in the postseason. Harrison Bader could potentially be a leadoff hitter if he wasn't playing for the Yankees. He's hit 3 home runs in the series.
Oh, by the way, the line of the weekend comes from Z with the Bader quote.
Oh, that was good.
Is he related? Harrison Bader obviously plays for the Yankees, and he heard his name on TV, and he asked, "Is that guy related to Darth Vader?" Which I mean was low key. I mean, so quick. I never even thought of that.
No, I do have a funny story about Harrison Bader though.
Go ahead.
So last night I was able to sit in the bleachers for Game 4, and Harrison Bader, he kept tossing balls like when they play catch, he would throw balls off of the Guardians scoreboard, like chuck them up, and it kept hitting the scoreboard. One dude sitting right behind me actually got hit in the head. The ball hit the scoreboard, came back down, hit him right in the head, and then the kid in front of me caught the ball with one hand. So that happened. Then everybody was like chanting his name because everybody was like hating him because he was acting like a turd last night, like taunting like the crowd and everything. He throws a ball up, hits the scoreboard. For some reason, I think he tried to break the scoreboard because he was just being an idiot. And then the guy catches it. He throws it back at him. And like his back was turned and it almost hit him. So he picks the ball up and he throws it out of the stadium, like over center field, like over the scoreboard. Like, and if you're like familiar with that stadium, there's Eagle Avenue right behind it, like where people walk. Thank God nobody was walking, or else they could have been like seriously hurt by Harrison Bader throwing the ball out of the stadium.
Maybe he is related to Darth.
And yeah, and then he like
there's more.
Then he made like a motion. I'm not gonna say what he did. He made a motion to the bleachers because they were all taunting him. Next pitch, single into center. He boots the ball, and then we get to second base for the double. And then everybody was all over him. Everybody in the bleachers were all over him. It was like a rivalry last night. The bleachers against Bader.
Bleachers versus Bader. Sounds like a nice children's novel.
Yeah, no. If you were a children, you did not want to be sitting in the bleachers last night.
What was the atmosphere like last night?
Yeah, it was packed, sold out. Everybody was ready to go pregame because the Browns lost. It was a chance to beat New York at home and go to the ALCS, and place was rocking. And then the Yankees came out. They kind of punched us in the gut. You get that run by Rizzo, 2-run home run by Darth Vader Bader. And it kind of silenced everybody a little bit until we got going. Jose Ramirez bloops one into left. Naylor takes a shot to right center to make it a 1-run lead. And, when he hit that home run to right center, place was rejuvenized, man. Everybody was up on their feet. It was loud. But, I give credit to Garrett Cole, what he did last night. He was phenomenal. Their bullpen was really good. And, as you could tell, my voice is kind of dying a little bit as this long sentence goes on. So I was yelling a lot more than I'm used to.
Love it, man. Just you being in the house.
Yeah, it was
that'd be
cool.
awesome.
That's those experiences you don't take for granted because you never know. You never know when you're going to get them again, really. Like, unfortunately for Pittsburgh, they haven't had the opportunity to have, an experience like that. And, we've been blessed in the last couple of years to have playoff baseball in Cleveland. So you really never know, especially like kind of our market, when you're going to get these playoff teams. So, just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy it. It was a loss, but you know what? You got a chance to win the series tonight.
You ready for tonight?
I'm ready. I'm a little nervous. I was talking to Romo. We were talking for a good hour. I'm pretty nervous for tonight. I'm not going to lie. I woke up and, when you don't have a starter really on the mound, because Savali's a starter, but he's been hurt.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bullpen game. It's kind of nerve-wracking. And, New York's got a guy in Taillon who you're very familiar with.
Oh, Jameson Taillon. Yeah.
Yeah. Taillon, very, very good starter in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, now he's in New York. We got to him in game 2, so hopefully we get to him again. But, that was his first time being in the bullpen all season. So Taillon's going back as a starter. So he's going to be comfortable. And, it's going to be tough because New York's got the bats. They're at home. Big game 5, big spotlight, and we'll see. I mean, hopefully we get on them early.
Well, Richie, I'm excited for the game. Like I told you, I have Guardian fever like you wouldn't believe. I am not the biggest of Cleveland fans. I'll never admit to be, but I will say this, that I am excited. Like I've caught it, just your passion and my want to have great baseball in this area. I went out and bought my first Guardians hat.
Nice.
So now I've got all my Indians hats, and now I've got my Guardians hat. Thanks to the missus for allowing me to pull that one off at the mall on Saturday. But we did some visiting. We visited the Youngstown Clothing Company on Saturday. Got to talk to Matt, the owner, for a while. Got my Golden Dawn T-shirt because they support us. I support them, and sounds like the Youngstown Clothing Company. We're going to be doing some stuff in the future. But that is a perfect segue into the big news of the day, and you're going to hear it first right here on the Ysn Power Hour. Richie, we already talked about it. You and I kind of offline. Athletics. You might be wondering why the AX is to my right. It's because athletics has been based in Columbiana. If you don't know it, you need to, because it is the premier indoor sports mecca that we have been waiting for such a long time. I've toured the place. We've had shows from there already, and we're going to be doing a lot more. And when I say a lot more, I mean a ton, because the official partnership begins today. We met with the Wardles early this morning, and beginning officially, now it doesn't mean we can't move in before there, beginning in 2024, January 1st, 2024, Stream City is moving to Columbiana, Ohio. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be officially right hand and left hand with athletics. We will be on campus, on the grounds of athletics. We will be with athletics. The players, the student athletes, the athletes that will be training in athletics will have access to YSN and vice versa. We will have, access and talk, and they're doing leagues out there. So we will incorporate our leagues, or their leagues, I should say, onto our website, in our streams, things of that nature. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind thing. And again, we can't be more excited about this opportunity with the Wardles and YSN. It gives us another opportunity to grow. And we are bursting at the seams here in our studios in East Palestine. We've been actively looking for another site to call home, whether it's remote or otherwise. And so athletics kind of stepped up to the plate and said, hey, we'd love to have you here. So we are officially, at least for right now, It's the athletic studios here in East Palestine until we can get out to Columbiana and do everything. We'll have our offices there, remote studios there, as well as a permanent studio on the campus of athletics. So Columbiana, we're coming home. As frustrated as we are for, I guess not frustrated, as sad as I am to leave my home city of East Palestine, it's what you got to do. It'll always be my hometown, but you gotta move, and the business is growing, and it's because the expectations and the what everybody else wants us to do, we're moving on up. So can't thank athletics enough, and looking forward to moving in the next year or so.
Sports paradise, baby. Sports paradise at athletics. You got everything you could want, you could ask for over there at that complex. Being able to watch your tour and what that facility presents to all the athletes around our surrounding Youngstown areas. You've got a half turf there where you could practice softball, baseball, football, whatever you want, basketball courts, weight training. You got golf simulators for golfers around this area, which I know Brian Tolnar is probably going to be real happy about when he visits us. He could go swinging over there a little. So basically, an athlete's paradise. It's heaven there. I mean, everything you could want and ask for.
In cages,
building.
They're doing all kinds of stuff. They're doing classroom work, which I think is really interesting. To level up the IQ of student athletes and athletes in general in the area. It's just a place you want to be. It's a place you want to be. And the one thing that I was taken away, I've always been taken away from, and kind of hand in the pile, is their commitment to Christianity. And we as YSN, very firm and foundation in our faith. And one of the main reasons that, we're here is because of God's hand on everything that we do, and not to get overly dramatic on you, but that's what they are as well. I mean, everything that they've done, they've been led in a bunch of different directions, and we'll have Sean on the show. It'll tell you kind of all the different, scenarios that they've faced. And they landed on a beautiful patch of grass in Columbiana on Route 7. And it's been a dream of mine. And Richie, I've shared this with you, to get out there to where everything is more centralized, where we can jump on 11 or 46 or 7 or 14 or whatever, and get to where we need to go. And now that dream is now a reality, and just smiling, from the time I left this morning until the release now. And I know there's going to be people that are frustrated, that because we're in East Palestine business that we're leaving. But at the end of the day, it's you have to do what's right for your family, and you have to do what's right for the people that not only work here, but make life easier for you guys. You know what I mean? You're driving 30 minutes a day in East Palestine, and you never said boo about it. But I kind of feel guilty about that. Being able to drive 15 minutes and get home in 15 minutes. I imagine you'd want to spend a few more minutes at the office. It's with the swing suites, and with, we can go play, some pickup basketball or kickball or whatever you want to do, or get some hacks in the cage. I'm just excited. I think that it's going to bring a great opportunity for the student athletes in our area that are training at athletics. And, we can go get them. We can go talk to them on a one-on-one basis. And, the one remote studio is going to be called the Hot Corner. I'm really excited about it, because it's right as you go into the field house, you have to pass the Hot Corner, and we'll have live on the air shows that are going on the Hot Corner. We've got two, I want to say they're 50-inch TVs right across from us. So we'll be able to watch not only YSN games, but games that we have, interest in. So the Guardians or Steelers or Browns, whatever it may be. And there's a concession stand right next to us that's called the Home Plate. So I couldn't be more excited. Jubilation, man. It's a great, great day in YSN history, and it's only going to make us better, stronger, faster, same way it's going to do for them. So it's a match made in heaven.
It really is. I mean, when you look at the location, like you talked about, right off Route 7 there, that kind of area is really growing exponentially. I drive by that every day to get to HQ. And you drive by there, they're building like a 2-story building right near that complex. So of course you got the golf course there. You got gas stations, restaurants, and that whole area with like that Homestead and Firestone is starting to grow as well. They're starting to build more stuff around there. So it's an area that is really starting to transform kind of beneath our own eyes. That will probably be one of the nicest areas in the next 5 or 10 years, I think. So
Hands down.
So it's going to be a nice area to be in for sure.
Well, and the one thing that they told me before getting, Sean likes to do the sketches and stuff like that, but he said the bricks will stay. He told us he's going to build the bricks. Our studio will be based on bricks, very much like you see in our background here. Not this one, our red brick wall, our cinder brick wall. It's going to be like the background you see with the YSN and the ysnlive.com that they've already adopted. So it's again, the brick by brick, perfect fit in every way you can look. The promotion of what they're doing, I think, is going to help them a ton. And they've been so generous with everything that we're looking to do and looking to keep going. So we congrats. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. To your father, Duluth, Richie. When will you guys be moving in? It looks like, again, no date has been said, but our lease here is up in 2023. So the end of next year. So I anticipate you'll see us doing a few things from athletics between now and then. We'll probably move into the hot corner first and do some remote shows while the studio is being built and the offices are being moved into and comfortably. But yeah, like I cannot be more excited about it. I mean, being around sports 24/7 is kind of what I've built my life around. And now it's true. I mean, a gym at your office, a swing suite at your office, people that care about sports at your office. And I think the excitement level when you walk through those doors is just going to be over the moon, and I know we've told a handful, the executive staff already, majority of them that I've been able to contact, and everybody is amped up. Everybody is just cannot wait to go. And it's just, again, it's like a new thing. It's a new day here at YSN. And I'm just, blessed beyond measure, blessed beyond belief, because things you don't imagine. And most people might be sitting there and wondering themselves like, okay, why is this such a big deal? Well, imagine the level that we're bringing right now at YSN. And I'm speaking purely on the YSN side because I don't want to outkick my coverage here with athletics, but the student athletes, like the school stuff that we do already, we're going to be able to do a lot more youth stuff. Put it on our website, ysnlive.com. We're going to be able to do adult recreational stuff, beer leagues, things of that nature. Put it on ysnlive.com. So a lot of generation and exciting stuff. Some of the names of yesteryear, maybe that you forgot about, that are now doing men's slow pitch softball and things like that at athletics, we'll be able to put on ysnlive.com, which will hopefully generate more people, more leagues, more opportunities at athletics, which in turn gives us more content, which is what we do, what I think we do the best. So, dude, I've been waiting. You were my first call because I know how much you wanted it. You wanted something like this. And my friend, you ask, we deliver.
Oh, I'm pumped. I mean, this is what I'm pumped about right here. You and I, baby, one-on-one.
Cage Bomb City.
Let's put Garrett Cole in the simulator there and see how many bombs we could hit.
Well, they have the hit tracks.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to watch, like put ourselves in Progressive Field, Jacobs Field, and go head to head. And I'm down for it.
I got to start lifting some weights, man.
And you can do that at athletics.
Yeah, I'm first 6 months heavy weight training. Then I got to start picking up the bat. And then Dan Bertolini is going to be giving me a call.
What's the Scrappers manager?
Who, Homer Bush?
Homer Bush will be calling you up.
That's right. I'm out of eligibility on the college side. I'm going to have to call Homer.
Your Ellie's all up, man. It's all dried up. So Homer's going to be calling. He's going to signal up to the booth and go, give me the righty.
All right.
Give me RJ. You know how sweet that would be is if you made the run all the way down, or you just climbed out of the booth.
Yeah.
Straight down.
Run over the dugout. Be like, all right, let's go.
I'm down for it. But I want to thank everybody for the quickly. I mean, so many people are commenting and I'm getting text messages. My phone's blowing up right now with how excited people are. And I'm sure Sean and the entire World clan will have the same thing once everybody gets word of this. So we're excited for it. What is this?
I
hit
wish
709.
If I hit 709, I'd be playing for Alabama.
Your brother hit 709.
Close.
He was a machine.
He was. I don't know what he hit, but it was over 500, I think.
It was high. I know that. The hitter of the year.
Yeah.
Golden bat of the year.
Still had that hanging up at his graduation party.
Love it.
Somewhere upstairs.
Thank you to everybody for the kind words. We appreciate it. Certainly big day for YSN, the announcement, but even bigger day when we start rolling through. So thank you to Athletics. Now the official proud corporate sponsor of YSN. Looking forward to everything that comes with it. And Rich, we're going to take a break. We come back. Oh, power rankings. You and I are going to talk about it. We'll wait till Wednesday for the computer rankings.
Yeah.
We'll talk about power rankings when we come back on the YSN Power Hour, powered by Athletics. Back after this.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN. We love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name's Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Wrs Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ and Richie with you. Richie, before we get to the power rankings, want to let everybody know I will be out and about in Louisville tonight for the Louisville Rockets show. Vinny Ballone, Anthony Luceni, Brady Banofsky, and Coach Mamulik all going to be stationed at the Malillos Station Grill. I've never been. Looking forward to it. Heard great food and a great atmosphere. And we're going to talk Rockets tonight after a big win against Mineral Ridge on Friday, my friend.
Yeah, huge win for the Rockets. You know, that was that game we talked about. They kind of needed that staple victory for the season and taking down a 7-1 Mineral Ridge team on the road. You know, it was a more competitive game, 21-7 the final. So not the offense we've seen from Louisville, but we kind of expected that. I mean, Mineral Ridge has a really good defense this year. So the Rockets, who are able to pick up their big victory, improved to 9-0. Of course, you're going to have the big dogs tonight, right? Kind of all their big guys are going to be out there with you. So, Vinny Balone, we got a chance to interview once. O'Brien did that one, and now you're going to sit down in person with him, kind of pick his mind a little bit, and he's got a bright future, of course. Hopefully, he'll get some offer here in the next couple of weeks if they're able to make a long playoff run and really play some good D7 talent in the playoffs. They're going to have some teams that they're going to have to beat. We've already seen a couple. Southern's one of them that they're going to have to take down. You got JFK, who's in there as well. So Springfield, don't count out Springfield yet. So it's a tough D7 this year in that region. So Louisville, like she said there, give credit to their defense as well, holding Tristan Valley in that offense to just 7 points, which was very impressive. You talked about their running back coming into that game having a breakout year, and they were kind of able to pull the reins on him a little bit.
I'm excited. Maybe Mrs. Luceni will be out there. We'll get to meet her in person tonight. So fingers crossed for that. And if you are not doing anything, the show will start 6 p.m. Come on out. Enjoy a nice night out. Listen to some Rocket talk. And if you can't be there, make sure you tune in to YSN Live here this evening. Trent Conway, the mayor of East Palestine, says, hate to see you guys leave, but well-deserved. Congratulations. Thank you, my friend. Greatly appreciated. And as always, like I said, East Palestine will always be my hometown. But we're excited for big things ahead for us, and we're not far away. So beautiful thing is I still have a beautiful house and home in East Palestine that we're not planning on leaving anytime soon. So we're excited for that. All right, Rich, enough for the happy horse. You know what? Here we go. It is the week 9. We're going to get annihilated. Here it is. Week 9 of the power rankings. And right on the top, I believe for the 4th consecutive week, if I'm not mistaken, the South Range Raiders are 9-0. And they stay atop of the Crow's Nest there on the Joe Dickey Electric Power Rankings. Austintown Fitch, 8-1, still at number 2. This is the one I think, Rich, we get the most questions about is why is Fitch number 2 if everybody in Austintown feels like they can beat South Range like a redheaded mule? So, explain it to us better than I can. Why do we do these power rankings the way we do these power rankings?
Well, we're not comparing, team against team per se, top 10. I think personally, Canfield, Ursuline, and, Fitch, they're bigger. I think they'd be able to beat South Range, but that's really not what this is about. I mean, this is about comparing teams that you have beaten in your own region. And I think South Range has the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their region because they're the number 1 team in that region. They have 26 points. That's 7 more points than anybody in Region 17. And that's what this is about. Because South Range can't control anything else but who they play. And if we did this based on who's the best team in the area, of course, everybody Division 1 and Division 2 would be the best team.
Boardman be on this list.
Boardman, yeah. I mean, but we're not comparing that. We're comparing teams that they've played and how they have handled themselves against the teams that they've played in their region. So I think South Range deserves that. They're not going to play a Division 2 Austintown Fitch. Austintown Fitch is not going to drop down and play a Division 5 school. There's just no advantage for Fitch to play a D5 school because they're not getting any points beating South Range. And, it's all South Range at that point. If they beat Austintown Fitch, I mean, you're getting everything. So those matchups just aren't going to happen. And I think people need to realize that. You're not going to see a South Range against an Austintown Fitch ever, unless, one team would have a COVID game or something and they would need to fill it. That's the only time you're ever going to see that. So we only rank these based on your strength of schedule and who you're playing week by week. And I think, South Range, the way they've dominated throughout the season, they deserve that number 1 spot. They really haven't had more than one competitive game this season. And, you've kind of seen that. I'd say the only competitive game this year was either against Struthers or Canton Central Catholic.
Yeah, I think, and that's the one that I've been preaching, or the two that I've been preaching, really. When you talk about South Range, those are the tapes you want to watch if you're an opposing football team. And, with Hubbard being week 10 this week, Hubbard's going to have to brush up real quick. But like we saw with Wellsville and Valley Christian, Richie, I'm not ready to put the cart before the horse and say that it's a 10-0 season, because you see what can happen on any given Friday.
That was crazy. I mean, I think all of our eyes, especially in our group chat, were on that game because my game ended. I was able to put it on and watch it. The way that Valley Christian came back, Wellsville, who pinned them inside the 5-yard line, and then you end up going 98 yards and taking over that football game and scoring. And then you're like, okay, you got to get 2. And they botch the snap. They don't get 2. Game goes into overtime, and Valley Christian gets his big stop. And then, we kind of saw what or not overtime, in the final possession, you saw what Dontrell Mixon did with 4 seconds left. He hurdled that dude, and then he took it the other way. So
Trizzy.
And it all happened because of that botched punt. Wellsville, unfortunately, with 25 seconds left to punt it away, went off the side of his foot, gave the ball to Valley Christian within the 40, and then you give it to Dontrell Mixon, and he took over that football game. I think that's one guy who should probably win Player of the Week, the way he was able to manufacture that last drive. They barely threw it. They had one big throwing play, which was a jump ball on a streak, 2-on-1, that somehow he came down with it. But outside of that, it was just Dontrell Mixon running the football. I mean, they knew what was happening.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pulling executive order. Dontrell Mixon is going to be on Big Dogs of the Valley. Like, hands down. If you would have seen the way he took over that game, that is a man amongst boys when it came to that, wanting that game more than everybody else. So Dontrell Mixon, without a shadow of a doubt, will be a Big Dog of the Valley nominee this week. And I believe it's his second or third time this year as those things start to wrap up this week, right? This will be it.
Yeah, this week. And you know what? Wellsville knew it was coming. They brought 8 guys, 9 guys every play.
Had to.
Man-to-man, and they still couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
He was breaking 3-4 tackles every play.
Yep, they had to. Cheney at 8-1. Going to be number 3 on this list. They stay at number 3. Number 4 stays at number 4. Louisville, 9-0. Canfield gets a little bit of a hop there, Richard. 7-1. They hop over West Branch. I think a lot of people started watching this show, listening to you, and why it didn't make sense necessarily that West Branch was over top of Canfield for a while. But I think, in at least, no offense to West Branch, I think the voters came to their senses a little bit. Yeah. So they're voted in at 5, up 1 spot from 6 last week. West Branch just the flip-flop, down from 5 to 6. Warren JFK still in there at 7. Pardon me. At 7-1. Then you got Valley Christian. Now, this is the interesting one, Richie. You and I talked about it. Are there going to be voters that vote Valley Christian out because of that close game against Wellsville? Luckily for Valley Christian, they just kind of hung around.
Yeah, they stayed put.
Some people voted them. I mean, we had Valley Christian voted as high as like 4 in some polls, which kind of kept them in. But some people did vote Valley Christian out. And then this one. This is the interesting one, right? Ursuline. Now, you and I talked about it before. I think that the criticism of not having Ursuline on this list last week got to some of the voters.
100%.
And it's nothing against the voters, nothing against Ursuline, but at the end of the day, you got to stick to your guns. And the wishy-washy thing, now I'm trying to play by the rules here and keep them where they're supposed to be. But we took some heat last week over people from Ursuline saying that Ursuline could beat anybody on this list. And the first 2-win team we've ever had in the power rankings are your Ursuline Irish. Your thoughts?
You know what? I've been fighting for Ursuline for a little bit. I understand the slack we've been getting on social media because when you look at Ursuline's schedule, they're playing a tough schedule. Mm-hmm. I get why they're not in our top 10 the last 2 weeks because they had 2 losses. They were sitting at 5-2 at one point and then 6-2. they've had some big-time victories on their last couple weeks. When you look at a Villa Angela St. Joseph team who had a one-loss team on Division III, they beat them 40-0 on the road. They beat a Cheney team down the wire, losing in the final 5 minutes, come back, beat them 30-27. That's on the road in a hostile environment. They've got some big wins on their schedule this year. Farrell, a team that is 7-1 over in Pennsylvania, beating them 40-38, giving up some crucial kickoff returns, 2 of them. 2 special teams mistakes, and they still come out on top by 2. Their strength of schedule is beyond everybody on our list, and outside of Austintown Fitch. And I think that's what puts them in there. When you look at their losses, Fitch Division II, St. V Division II. So there's a reason right now in region number 9 that they're the number 3 seed with 2 losses when half of the region has 1 loss. It's because of their strength of schedule. And, you know, I think Ursuline deserves to be in here. I think they're a really good football team. And I do agree with them putting them in. But I think the last couple weeks, I understand why they weren't, because at the time you had teams undefeated and with 1 loss, and they were 5-2. So
that's kind of my question is, if you look down, Brookfield number 10, Brookfield number 10 at 8-1, down from number 9. But I think people were just trying to find a slot for Ursuline to fill in without feeling like they were completely abused in the last 2 weeks and throwing them over top of some teams that either have no loss records or 1 loss records. So my question is, teams like Edison, who are in there for a cup of coffee, 9-0, and they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, well,
I mean, your thoughts on like the voters. Again, I think if there's Edison people knocking on doors and busting down windows of us at YSN, I think they'd feel the heat too. But, you know, I also think they are starting to look at strength of schedule from that standpoint, Rich. And you look at what Edison has done to this point. You look at what Ursuline has done to this point. And if that's what you're measuring on, Ursuline deserves to be in here, and Edison should be on the outside looking in.
I 100% agree. What kills Edison is strength of schedule. We've talked about this before. You know, it's hard because that's where they're located geographically.
Yep.
They're surrounded by Division 7 schools. And you don't want to take too many long trips because, of course, there's so much money in an athletic budget where you're traveling all the time that costs money. So you got to play around your location. And unfortunately for Edison, it's a lot of D7. And what kills Edison is they've played really one team that has a good record, and that's Matthews, who's another D7 school, 2 divisions below Edison, and they're 8-1, which is, you know, a pretty good win for Edison this year. But, you know, they haven't played anybody but 1 or 2 teams that is either their own region or a region below, which was Woodward, who's Division 3, but they're 0-9. So, I mean, that's not even that good of a win right now. So when you look at their strength of schedule, yes, they're 9-0. Yes, they're top 5 on Region 17, Division 5. But I don't know. I just don't. I want to see them play somebody first. You know, if they play somebody big and they beat them, like say they play a Perry or a Fairless or a Norway and they beat them, then I'm like, okay, you know, maybe they do deserve to be in the top 10. But right now, I just don't think they have that strength of schedule to compete.
If Edison gets in, well, they will get into the playoffs. They'll be in D5 playoffs.
Yeah, they're in.
And they win their first round game. Do people start looking at them a little bit different, Rich, than what they're looking at them for the first 9 weeks of the season?
What'll be very interesting, there is an opportunity for Cardinal Mooney to play Edison in the first round.
Oh, baby.
Now, there's a lot that has to happen for that to occur. When I'm looking at this region right now, Cardinal Mooney's the 13 seed. So you would have Edison, if they stay put at 4, playing Cardinal Mooney in the first round. That is 4 against 13. Now, Mooney, who is a point ahead of Triway and Smithville, you would need both of them to lose. And you would also need Liberty to lose. So Liberty's playing Garfield. That's going to be a tough game for Liberty. Smithville is playing Norwayne, who is a pretty respectable opponent. That could be a loss there. Triway is playing Orville, who's 5-4. So Triway might win that one. Either way, I think, Edison's going to have a tough first round game, whether they play Cardinal Mooney or Triway. So, maybe they get some respect. And like Siggy said, they had a soft schedule kind of last year, and they were beat up in the playoffs. If they beat Cardinal Mooney, I think that's when, they're in our power rankings. Unfortunately, our power rankings will be over by then.
Yeah.
But, if there was a playoff power rankings, they're in there.
It's going to be interesting. I really like the way that things are shaping up in D5. I really like the way that things are shaping up for all of our playoff teams, because according to Quinn, who is our schedule maker, it looks as of right now that we'll have 24 games next Friday. And that's exciting for us for a couple different reasons. He said there were 6 local matchups, local matchups, which will be big. Right now, Crestview is a number 16 seed, which, Drew Pastor, however you pronounce his name, decided that, he had them projected at 16. There's a lot of people that told us, yeah, right, no way. Well, Crestview handled business on Friday, and now they're the number 16. So, congratulations, you go get Kirtland. But at the end of the day, and we're going to address some of these other questions and comments about, how would other teams handle Kirtland from that standpoint? What's your thought on that, Rich? Let's go back. Here we go. There's your father, Duluth. Could a team like Kirtland hang with Fitch, Cheney, and Canfield?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They've already shown it. They beat an 8-1 Lutheran West team in Division 3, 21-0. Lutheran West, that's their only loss this season to Kirtland. I think they're really good. They beat a Division 2 Lakeside team 2 weeks ago, 35-8. Everybody they play is Division 3 or Division 2. They rarely play their own division, so their strength of schedule prepares them for that. And I think Kirtland could definitely hang with some teams around this area. But like I said earlier, you're never going to see a Canfield, a Cheney, or a Fitch playing Kirtland because they have nothing to gain from that.
Zero.
They have everything to lose, actually. So you would never see that. Like, we talked about this when Canfield had that bye week during homecoming. There was a team in Division 6 that was open, but they didn't want to take it because there's no advantage of playing that game. You'd rather get the bye and not lose those points, because if a Division 6 team beats you, that kills you. That really does hurt you.
Yeah, people don't realize that. It's not just, apples to apples. Now it's apples to oranges to grapes to bananas. That it's all the different fruits in the fruit bowl, and they don't necessarily always stack up because the Division 2 team, 3 team, whatever it may be, they can beat Division 6, but then that's what people are going to say. Well, you should win. You're Division 3.
Yeah.
Division 6 wins.
Yikes. And that's, Kirtland's done that to everybody this year. They're 9.
Nobody. Yeah. The only I don't want to say problem. The only time I would say that would be tangible is if you just want to shut Kirtland up. Be like, yeah, we beat them. Quiet. Hush it. But Tiger's got so much respect from so many of these coaches that'll never happen.
No, I don't think you want to risk it because they're that good. I don't see, I hope Valley does it. I hope Brookfield does it. United, I hope they do it. It's going to be tough to get out of Division 6, Region 21. It's going to be very, very tough. You're going to have to play almost perfect that night.
People chiming in on Steubenville versus Edison. I don't think you're going to see that one either.
No, that's another game that Edison kind of looks at, and Steubenville probably looks at too and says, "I don't think so."
I mean, from a divisional standpoint, it's not that bad. But
no, it's not.
I don't think Edison's ready for that. I don't, and I'm not knocking Edison. We saw what happened to Mooney on Saturday, 28-7, and it was. Both teams were very respectful. Both teams, get out there on a Saturday. But Steubenville is a different animal, man. They're a different horse.
They're a different animal for sure. I mean, Steubenville would only drop one division playing Division 5. But when you look at Steubenville's schedule, it's the same thing. They're playing D3, D2 week after week. They challenge their football program to play the best of the best around that area. And, Their one loss comes to that Lindsley team, which we still have a lot of questions about.
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions about them. So, and they lost that game by 1 point. They're playing a team from Maryland this week, actually. So they play teams from all over. They played a team from DC, 2 from West Virginia, 2 from PA, 1 from Maryland. So I just don't see Steubenville playing host to Edison unless they would need a week to fill. But, when you have such a respectable program at Steubenville, I don't see anybody not playing you.
In Steubenville, they're like 7-8 home games a year.
Yeah, they play every game at home. It's kind of crazy, actually. They play 3 out of their 10 games on the road this year.
This is a 1.5 right here for Sigler. Edison dropped Beaver Local. That should tell you a little something.
Yeah.
That should tell you a little something about where kind of Edison, and not that they're running scared, but I think that they're trying to play competitive ball games against teams that aren't going to just absolutely blow their doors off. And, I don't think they're going to drop Beaver Local to go get a Steubenville. No punches pulled from any of those teams, but Steubenville is not going to take it easy on anybody.
And look what they're doing too. I mean, they're going to be 10-0 this year. There's no doubt in my mind they roll Indian Creek this week, who's 1-8. They're going to be a 10-0 football team. That's going to get a number 4 seed most likely, and you're going to play a 13 seed that could be Mooney, Harrison Central, or Triway. So at some point in time, they're going to have to play a tough team.
I'd love to see the Mooney matchup. I really would, right off the jump, just to see kind of where both teams are.
Yeah,
Mooney,
you really want to see.
People were saying Mooney had no chance at the playoffs this year. And that's why I love how this season has played out. This has been kind of one of those years, Rich, that for the most part, we kind of didn't know what we were going to get from a lot of these teams. You knew you were going to have the South Range and Fitch and Ursuline. And, even Ursuline had some question marks at the beginning of the year because of who they lost. But, the Edisons have been fun to watch. All these teams. Valley Christian has been fun to watch. All these teams. Brookfield, fun to watch this year. So it's been really good.
And let's be real too. Cardinal Mooney, they shouldn't be 4-5 right now. They had that forfeit to Youngstown East, unfortunately, with that of their players. So they should be better than their record. I mean,
they should be higher seed.
They beat East. Yeah, they should be a higher seed for sure. And look what they did week 1 against Boardman. They lost 10-7 in that game against Boardman. So,
no disrespect to Edison, but if they play Mooney wins by 3 scores. And I don't think anybody's necessarily disagreeing with that. But listen, where were you on Friday when Valley was taking on Wellsville? We had Valley by 3 scores.
Yeah, I had Valley worse. I had Valley by 5 scores.
That's why they play the game. And in the playoffs, it's a 1-game tournament, man. Yeah. It's a 1-game tournament, and you just never know because the playoffs, there's a lot more people there, especially as you get to week 13, because people that are coming that otherwise don't, because their team doesn't play that night. They want to go see some football and some good talent, and that's what they're going to do. So, again, any given Friday, without a shadow of a doubt. Those are your power rankings brought to you by our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric. Thank you so much to Joe, who's an avid watcher of YSN, I found out, as well as Eric Carlson and the whole team over there at Joe Dickey Electric for all your support of your sports network. All right, let's get to this last question. What team is best equipped to beat South Range in the playoffs local-wise?
Local-wise, probably Mooney's your only chance.
I still think that's an uphill battle. And I'm not saying it because I'm the homer, but there's just so many weapons. I mean, they have really started to put together a nice connection between Skirpak and Kraus, the tight end. They haven't used I think they've been using decoys with their wide receivers, Lindstrom and Leone, the last couple weeks because they haven't really gotten involved that much. But who's going to stop all of that considered? Billy Skirpak is turning into one of the top backs in the backfield from running the football. I mean, there's just so much to defend. When you finally figure them out, if you can finally start scoring on them, then you got to keep up with them on offense. And I just don't think that there's anybody right now in D5 and in their region equipped to do that. And again, that's no disrespect. It's just South Range is number one because they're number one, and they've earned that title.
Another team I was looking at that has an opportunity to somewhat compete with them would be Garfield. Garfield, what they do well is they drain clock.
That's it. They play their game. Yep.
And if you can do what Garfield does and have slow, methodical drives that are 7-8 minutes, and you keep that defense on the field and you slowly but surely beat them down, then in the second half, if you're within a touchdown or two, you've got a chance to maybe force a turnover because the offense isn't in rhythm throughout the game. I think that's the only way that, Garfield would be able to beat South Range is if they have those 7-8 minute drives where they're able to punch it in for 6.
Still no love for Brookfield.
See, I think Brookfield, I talked about this last week. I think they're on the up and up right now. I guess I'll give love for Brookfield right now.
I think we gave plenty of love to Brookfield the last few weeks.
Yeah, we talked about it over and over. Garfield beating them 35-14 was huge. They've won 8 in a row after that opening loss to Ursuline. Probably going to beat champion at home, so a 9-1 season for Coach Randy Clark, which is another great season. We had an interview, I think, with Randy Clark a couple weeks ago, and he talked about the competitiveness and the toughness of his team after that tough loss. And, they're a top 5 team right now in Division 6, Region 21. So, they're going to get a really good first-round matchup, whether that would be against potentially Jackson Milton or Trinity or Middlefield Cardinals. So I think they're going to be able to get past the first round. Second round will be interesting. But I think Brookfield right now is a really good football team, and I think they're clicking on all cylinders.
I think this is true, too. Garraway will be a tough test for South Range. Garraway was a tough test last year for South Range. That was a game that was won on a trick play. And I think that's a game that everybody's looking forward to. But you got to remember, again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Both teams have to get there because that is going to be a collision course that'll be regional championship.
Yeah, that'll be a regional championship because you got 1 against 2. So Garraway right now would be playing Smithville in round 1. Garraway doesn't really have that bad of a path to get there. No, neither does South Range. So, if I had to pick right now, I think I would have Garraway and South Range in my regional final in that division.
Which will probably be, where was that, Niles?
Probably.
No, it was at Louisville. It was at Louisville last year.
Was it?
I think it was at Louisville.
Okay.
Because it was freezing cold. I remember that.
That's our big thing, too. Who could run the football when it comes to that part of the year?
Yeah, because it's as the temperatures drop, your running backs better heat up, and you're in a big jam heading into the playoffs. All right, let's get to our Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, make sure you visit them on the web at dickieelectric.com. All right, Rich, got a lot to pick from. What is your spark today, my friend?
I think my spark was going to the game last night. That was awesome to be able to be there in front of 35,000 people in a ruckus crowd in Cleveland, especially after they lost earlier, the Browns at 1:00. So bad loss for the Browns. Everybody had their hopes up. Everybody was really excited to get into the game. It was a good atmosphere. So, just being able to have the opportunity to go that game was just a unforgettable moment. And, I'll remember that for a long time. And, hopefully I get to go to another one if they make the American League Central Series, Championship Series.
All right, I got to go to yesterday. Was a tough day for yours truly as a lover of sports, a proud father, because the Z-Man was running wild on the soccer pitch, and he scored 2 goals, which would be really exciting for most people, except when you realize that he scored 2 goals into his own goal.
Yikes.
That was tough Tough pill to swallow, man. So I'm taking the negative spark. I love him. Z-Man is a monster, but his directional compass for scoring is a little bit off kilter right now. So we're going to work on that this week and make sure that he's scoring goals into the right goal and not past his own goalie.
It's all right.
He's jazzed up about it, though. I'll tell you that.
He's got to learn, right? You'd rather him learn at this age than, when you're in high school and you kick it in the wrong net.
He came over and said, "Hey, I scored 2 goals." I said, "Wrong goal, buddy." Wrong goal. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks for hanging around. Again, thanks to Athletics for making our day. Thanks to all of our supporters. Thanks to you for checking in. And Richie, thanks to you for hanging out. You won't be on Running Point. Yours truly will be on Running Point tomorrow. You will be on Wednesday. I'll take Thursday, and then Ty's back on Friday. Great job, Ty Bartell, by the way. If you're out there watching, appreciate what you do as well. That's it for our show. We'll see you next time on the Ysn Power Hour tomorrow, 3 to 4, your sports network. Ysn thanks you for